50s was a great era. We'd watched all our heroes come back from World War II and play with the little race cars and get them all going. In the 50s, when we were in school, the real love affair with the American automobile, to me, started. The Fonzie area, everybody was into football, baseball, basketball, but everybody loved cars. Cars reflected such an individual trait for everybody at that time. I mean, there were so many different cars. And street racing was just the way of life then, it seemed like, in school.
And that would be about 1937 or 1938. The motivation for street racing, of course, came out of what I think is a typical American feeling for competition in any sport. This happened to be an activity that involved kids who had modified their own cars and they just wanted to try them out against each other. A lot of the racing was done in those days up at the dry lakes, the old Merrick Dry Lake in particular, for top speed runs, but because the lake bed was primarily dried clay, it didn't provide good traction for drag racing. So the circuit began and we did the street racing generally shortly after dark, 8 o'clock at night or so, and we'd go until the highway patrol showed up with their red lights and sirens, and we'd take off through the bean fields or whatever happened to be handy that we could hide in.
I vividly remember seeing probably 300 to 500 cars out there, and you just drive up right by the vehicles. You'd see some schmoker that you thought, hey, this looked like something I won. You'd say, what do you got? And he'd tell you, and you'd say, drag it out. That's where that expression really come from. So the guy would come out, you'd go down, and you'd face off on Lincoln Boulevard, and mind you, both sides of that road would be full of cars. And here you'd hear this rubber squealing and take off. And in them days, the headlights were mounted very loosely. In fact, they were flickering like crazy. And these roadsters would come down there, and the grills would whistle. There's an eerie sound. Remind me a lot of the German little jet jobs during the war. When they'd come in, you'd hear this, you know, and here these cars would come by probably 90, 100 miles an hour. And who won? No one had a judge on it. They just put you up in front of the crowd, and if you were the winner, you felt good. And if you was a loser, I think you just kept right on going. Went home.
I went on the department in 1948. In 1949, I was working accident investigation when a suspected car went by, beautiful little yellow 1940 Ford Coupe. So I leaped into my trusty black and white Charger and took off in hot pursuit. And he had a much better engine than I, and so we lost him. I told the sergeant the fuel pump failed because I couldn't believe that I could not drive as good as that kid, but he lost me. So about a month later, I spotted the same car, and I pulled him over. His dad was in the car with him, and I talked to his dad about what had happened. And the boy thought I was really going to hang one on him. And I just showed a real interest in his car because it was a beautifully put together car. It had a beautiful engine, flathead, full race engine. When I got through, He said, you know, I belong to a car club called the Aristocrats, and it sure be nice if you'd come to one of our meetings and talk to us a little bit about drag strips and drag racing, because in those days there were no drag strips. And I agreed I'd come to their next meeting. I did, and that was a very interesting experience, because while he knew I was coming and I knew I was going to be there, he hadn't told anybody else. And understanding the feeling that existed between hot rodders and police officers was an adversary at best. And the president said, the meeting's adjourned. Anybody who wants to leave can leave. I thought that was a little rude, but again, if you understand the relationship between the policemen and the hot rodders in those days, it was not a very friendly relationship. Nobody left. They wanted to hear what I had to say. And by the time we got through, I used up my entire 45-minute lunch period. It was at nighttime, but we had developed a good rapport. They realized that I was interested in trying to provide off-street racing. I saw the need for drag strips, but at the same time, I was concerned about their safety. And they invited me back, and I showed them a racing film that I'd picked up, and that led to going to other club meetings. And the next thing I knew, I was so busy doing car club meetings on my nights off that the department decided I'd be better off to be put in a unit where I could do full-time working with young people than to try to fill in my off-duty hours that way. And so they established the car club unit, and I not only was in charge, but I was the staff. And we really had a good time for the next 15 years or so.
All of us were very fortunate that we did have these types of individuals in leadership roles who were willing to assist and cooperate in trying to turn a problem around. Consequently, a tremendous job was achieved. The main thing that the involved police officers did was to cultivate a feeling of respect and loyalty for law enforcement among a group of young people who probably hadn't paid that much attention, other than just looking over their shoulder and hoping they would get a ticket. But it went a long way. I think that without that kind of start and without that kind of support, I seriously doubt that we would have been able to put together and maintain the organizational activities that generated in ensuing years.